Congratulations on the mess you made of things. I'm trying to reconstruct the air and all that brings.
Aloha, guys. How's everybody doing? Welcome to my podcast. I am Isaac Stant, episode 12. Been a grindy week. Trying to stay as consistent as possible. I've been doing kind of other things. I made a little vlog video, I think a few days ago. And then, just trying to stay consistent on training and my diet and all that stuff. I had a couple days this week where we had some friends and, some drinks and food and all that. So, yeah, although that is fun, it is, it's definitely for me, those types of scenes and situations that I like, it doesn't really fit into my goals. So it kind of steers me away. And so like I said, I've mentioned this in a video, it's a dangerous gamble. So I really got to stay the course. With that being said, I wanted to talk about my approach to this year's WQS. There's a couple more events for the Hawaii region. They have sunset October 28th until like November 5th or something is the holding period that I entered. And they just released another event that is going to be happening at Haleiwa, which is November 28th to like December 6th or 7th of the for that holding period, which is super sick. So yeah, I got some events to look forward to and to kind of kick things into gear and put in the work. That's all we can do. So with that being said, yeah, I just wanted to talk about kind of my approach to these events, which is it's going to be a lot different than, now that I'm getting older and I've competed a lot over the years, I should say throughout my surfing career. Maybe in the last like 7 years, I haven't competed a bunch. I've done like 5 to 6 QS events. There's not a lot. So yeah, I would say maybe in the last like 6 to 10 years, maybe I haven't competed as much, yeah. But with that being said, which seems to be my favorite line for this podcast, with that being said, my approach to this year is a lot different. And, as I compete, I really try to analyze, like, what am I doing? What's keeping me from advancing out of my rounds? What's my approach? How am I going into these events? And yeah, so I think the bowls, that contest, was kind of like, I was putting in the time. I was surfing a bunch. The waves were kind of small here at home, but I was surfing a lot. And I was, grinding it out in Pavils. I got some new boards from Eric. And I also been dieting. So I was probably like, I don't know, man. I carry weight, So I was probably like 200 pounds, maybe even a little heavier. And now I'm probably around like 189 right now. But going into that event, I was dropping weight too. So my boards were a little bit thicker, but I was feeling overall, I felt good. Like I probably had like a month prior to that, maybe even longer, that I was working on boards, surfing every day. And when I went into that event, although I was using those boards, the waves were kind of like small here. I was a little unsure of what board to use. and I was using one of these models, and it just felt a little, for those conditions for bowls, it just didn't feel like it was like I was really connecting out there. And I had this round pin, one of the newer boards that I got in the batch of 2, and I didn't put a lot of time on that board, but I just kept feeling like, man, I should be using this board. Like, it just seems like it, whatever. But then I was like, but I've been using this board the whole time, and it is what it is. I'm going to make it work. So I that was a bad call, because I could feel it. I felt like I wasn't really committing to my surfing, and I felt a little bit just a little doubtful of to do my best surfing. I wasn't like believing in my capabilities when I was riding the board and just how I was connecting with the ocean. So I had this gut feeling that I should have just switched to the other board, although I didn't ride it too much. I just felt like that would have been the better choice. And I just ignored it. Whatever. That's something I've actually done a lot over the years of competing. That kind of situation right there. The other situation is, I don't know, those who know me, like I can get like, I'm a pretty like fun dude. You know what I mean? I'm very social. I would say I'm outgoing, and I like to goof around. I like to joke around, but I could be serious too, But I think overall my personality, I'm pretty like chill, like fun. I talk a lot and I goof around, you know what I mean? Not where I'm like blasting jokes on someone all day, like not that type of vibe. Like I don't roust, really, but I like to just be goofy. And when I get into surf events, although I always carry pressure because I want to do good like anyone else, right? You want to make your proud ones stoked and whatever. But whenever I go into surf events, I put this intense energy on me, and I almost like, I'm not even me, Like I go into events just like, I'll see friends. People don't know this, but I'm just kind of like, oh, what's up? How's it going? A little stern, like, hey, how's it going? And I talk, I'm cool, but I'm not like, yo, what's up? Blah, blah, like how I am. I'm just kind of like a little bit more, laugh and goof around a little bit. And I haven't been like that. And I've noticed, and I feel this, like, it's almost like you go into these events with this like warrior mentality. You know what I mean? Like you almost have to be like, it's time to go. Like, I don't want to, I want to look like, I want to show that I'm strong. I want to show that I'm I'm taking this shit serious, and it is how I feel, but also like it does put this added pressure on me, because it's almost like what I've been realizing, I just realized this too, so I'm just kind of talking this through, and I'm sure maybe people deal with this, but it's almost like I put that added pressure on me, and it makes me almost tense. It makes me like, it's not me. Like, that is a part of me, but no, like who I am is I'm like, oh, how's it going? Hope everyone's doing well. Like, what's up? Goof around. Like, I'm a pretty like outgoing dude. I'm not really like stern in the sense of like, if you're talking to me, I'm like, oh yeah, what's up? How's it going? Yeah, everything's been good, solid. Like it's a little like, it's not really how I am. And I've been going into surf events like that, when it comes day of competition, I kind of like put myself in this like, I don't even want to say like a warrior spirit or like how I am, but just like a very really like, hey, how's it going? But I mean business, don't get too comfortable like talking to me super, not like, I'm not here to just like chat up the whole time, but really how I feel is like, I don't mind it. Like I want to talk, I want to say what's up, I want to catch up, like it's not a big deal. And that's how I do feel, but I have to like, I project a different almost like personality of me, and it's not actually how I am. So I've noticed that, like, I think that really fucking throws me off. I think it really puts me, with who I am already as a person and how I handle certain things and I'm talking straight from a competitive standpoint. When I'm going into competition, surf competition specifically, I feel that has been a huge thing on my mental state, and then when it's time to actually go perform, it's like, oh, everything's tense. I'm serious, like, oh, like It's like, bruh, I'm already like that. Like, I have that already in me. So I don't know why I project that when it's time to compete. Like, we're going out into a heat. Like, I see guys running in. I want to be like, oh, bruh, good luck. Like, let's go. But I don't. I'm just like, you know what I mean? I think a thing, I was surfing with a friend of mine in Oahu. His name's Shaden. And he was out in the water, and he was super cool. Like, I haven't seen him in a long time. And guy rips. And he was like, he was saying, sorry, I'm like, we're out in the water, and he was just like, oh, he was like, oh, so beautiful out here. He's like, and as he's talking like that, I was thinking like, oh, that's actually how I feel. I did think it was really beautiful, but I'm just like, I'm not talking, I'm just like, I'm serious. Like, we have a heat. I'm ready to compete. And he's like out there, and he's just like, oh, he's like, come on, send the brother some waves. Like, let's go. Let's be able to perform. Send us some waves. And I'm thinking, how fucking cool is that? Like, this guy's like, you know what I mean? He's not like, send me some waves. He's like, send us some opportunity. Everyone in this heat. He's like, I got friends in this heat, but I want to compete. Let's go. Like, give us all an opportunity. And I was like, I literally think that way. I'm like, that's how I think. Like, when I'm in the water, I'm like, oh, I hope we all can like get opportunities and like just like let's just compete and like surf well. But instead I like don't say anything, and I'm serious, and I put this pressure, and then you kind of just surf that way. And I'm like, that's not how I am. When I free surf, I'm not like that. I go out, I'm what's up? Like, I'm relaxed. You know what I mean? Like, when it's time to go, you jump on the wave and then you go. But I don't, all that outside of that, I'm not, what's up? How's it? That's not how I am. For some reason, I put that into, I don't know how I became that, but yeah, I'm not going to go in with that approach no more. I'm just like, honestly, it's weird because it's not even more so a different approach. It's actually, I'm just going to be myself. I don't need to put myself in a more pressure situation and be tense, and project a certain image or energy that is not really me, and when it comes to competing, especially in surf competitions. So that's a huge thing. And I feel like I was talking to my wife about it, and I was talking about it, and I was like, holy crap, that's so weird. That's so interesting because, life in general, like, we all know this, like, everything's it's so mental. You know what I mean? The choices you make, decisions you make, the way you handle situations, it's a choice, and it all stems from your mental state. So we were just talking about that, and I realized that. And the other thing is just my equipment, my boards, like, don't second guess it. I've been surfing a long time. I got boards. I know what boards work well. Freaking surf those boards. I'm not going to I don't know why I'm like, oh, I've been using this board and it's new. I feel good. It feels all right. But like, I don't know. I'm a little unsure. It's like, well, then dumbass, go fucking ride the board that you always ride, that that just rips. Silly goose. Okay. So that's one big thing. That's one approach. The other approach, not the other approach, but this is another thing I've been doing. And I've been doing this for, 2 months now, consistently. 5 days a week, if not 7 days a week. And some people might be like, oh, this is really bad on your hips. But I mean, fuck, man, whatever. Sitting around can be bad for your hips and your joints and your knees. I'd rather do something active and productive and good for my mental state. But I've been running a lot. This is crazy, but I never really liked running ever. And I never really did it a lot, but there's times throughout my life where I'd, run for like a week, 2 weeks, and then stop forever and then run a little bit here and there. But I've been about 2 months on, 5 to 7 days a week, 2 to 5 miles minimum. In the past week, I've been kind of going more like 3.5 miles, a little bit more than a 5K, averaging a pace around like 10 minutes. I do it at a park, and the park is awesome. It's a lot of like flat, subtle declines, and then it inclines for a while, and then there's a fat uphill. So I like to push the pace on the hill And then once it hits flat ground, just, get a steady pace again. And it's just killer. It's been awesome. But man, I've been having surf sessions in the morning, and my legs, I've been tapering down a ton. I've been leaning out, and my legs have just been feeling solid. Like, it's been really good for me, and I feel great afterwards, my mental state for the most part. But, it's hard because that lasts for a couple hours, and you come home, your dopamine levels, you're just like, oh, I want something. I need my dopamine to freaking kick in. What do I do? So that's a struggle I think we all deal with, but that's another topic. So I've been doing that. I've been doing a lot of running. And I have a little gym at my house. I do weight training twice a week, and then mobility and that stuff at night, just stretching, normal mobility stuff, recovery, and just eating. And I went through several videos about my eating habits, but mainly my approach to this year is just going in, being just like myself. Relax, catching up with people. Like, I am a very competitive person, and I just want to go in and compete, but compete being me. I am serious to a degree, but I'm not like a real tense serious person, and I know people who know me know that. Like, I'm not like, yeah, like, if you talk to me in the water, I'm gonna talk back. What's up? How's it going? Yeah, let's go, man. Like, that's how I am. That, like, right here, this is how I'm talking. That is actually how I am. So I just need to be myself and let the surfing go. That's it. So that's my approach to this year. I did put a video, and I bet people are like, well, what's he doing? What kind of approach is he doing? What is he doing that no one else is doing? It's just a little different. The one thing I am adding, though, is the running. Doing a lot of running, man. I've been getting into running. Months. I've been consistent. I think I clocked in 15 miles in 6 days. Yeah, it was like 15 miles in 6 days, which isn't crazy compared to an athlete, a runner who does like triathletes, marathons. Those guys are doing fucking stupid amount of miles, The guys are doing like 10, 15 miles a day, where I'm doing 3 to 5 miles. But, I don't know. Maybe down the road. I mean, I feel good. Like, when I run like a 5K and I'm averaging like a 10-minute pace and I'm going inclines and uphills, I feel actually good. Like, I could go a lot longer. But I'm just, it's great. Like, I'm at like I can tell just from my, like, probably averaging like a 139, 140 heart rate, where I can talk. And yeah, it's not crazy. Like, probably couldn't have a full blown out conversation, but just enough, so I feel great, at where I'm at right there. And, yeah, so that's kind of how I'm going in this year. I'm really stoked. One of my other goals is to be surfing at least 2 days minimum, 2 times a day minimum with surfing. And even if I can get 3, but having a family and all that stuff, it's hard. I've been going at least once a day in the mornings, and it's been small and grindy, but that's been hard for me. I like to get back out there. I could get back out there at noon, at least for the second session. And that's something I need to do. I need to prioritize that, because at the end of the day, that's, what I mean? You need to surf. That's where the progression comes in, especially if you're wanting to get that paddling endurance and that muscle endurance that comes from paddling. It is very, very important. Yeah, training is one thing for me, at least, especially for mental state. But at the end of the day, as a surf athlete, that is prioritized. That needs to be prioritized. You need to be doing that like a lot. A lot of guys get super geeked up and they prioritize training, I think, over surfing. And although training is great, but it's all, what's your goals? That's all it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, that I just wanted to talk about is kind of like what I'm doing, but yeah, that's kind of my approach to this year's events coming up. We'll see what happens. I'm just super stoked. I'm trying to just enjoy the process as much as possible. It is difficult, man. Enjoying the present time and moment, and the process is freaking hard. It's like the hardest things to do, but that's That's what I'm trying to do. All right. Yeah. Well, until the next one. Aloha and take care.